On top of
Who
that,
else
I
you got?
also love dissecting trades, like the Chicago Blackhawks giving up feature considerations, nothing, and the Sens dumping to them Nikita Zaitsev, a 2023 second and a 2026 fourth. Alex, you had a funny text the other day.
Yeah, I listen, I understand why they made the move, and I'm not necessarily I'm a little critical of it, but I want to point out, why is no one talking about how he's made two moves like this now? And he's given up draft picks. He hasn't moved down. He's given up draft picks. He's given up a second, a third, a fourth, and a seventh to get rid of Nikita Zaitsev and Matt Murray. Kyle
Murray
Dubas.
one, yeah.
Let me put this out there. Kyle Dubas, I'm about to defend Ken Holland right now. That doesn't happen
Oh
ever.
boy, clip this, people.
Yeah. Kyle Dubas and Ken Holland literally moved down in a draft to get rid of
Mrazek
Mrazek, sorry, and Zach Cassian.
Yeah.
Kyle Dubas traded Nick Ritchie.
God, yeah, I forgot about that.
Got and a pick. Got back Ilya Lyubushkin in that trade, who everyone said the Leafs needed.
Breakaway shorthanded goal the other day.
Yeah. There's who else? Jarmo Kekalainen traded pennies on the dollar Oliver Bjorkstrand for a fourth round pick.
Gosh,
and he got criticized for it.
Eric Branson money right there.
Why is no one talking about Pierre Dorian Summer?
Here's why, Alex. Because everyone, it's kind of like why Meyer's been quiet. Everyone cares about Patrick Kane right now. I think that's why a lot of the attention's there.
No, but they're all. I don't believe that. I don't believe that, because we're all talking about it. We're all talking about Nikita Zaitsev being moved, dude. And listen, you guys are going to have your battle about Cam Talbot and Marc-Andre Fleury. I'm going to be straight out. That trade is an absolute failure right now. Philip Gustafson is doing fine in Minnesota, and I understand. You know what? Philip Gustafson didn't have the best time with the Ottawa Senators last year, but he is a young goalie, and you gave up him to bring in Cam Talbot with 1 year left on his contract, who had, yes, he had a fine year with the Minnesota Wild last year. Fine. He's 35. He's on the back end of his career, because you thought your rebuild was done. So you went into this season with Cam Talbot and Anton Forsberg as your two goalies, and you gave up Philip Gustafson. Come on, why? I don't understand why no one's talking about this.
This is also not the first time in your recent memory they've given up a young goalie. Remember, who's the young guy they lost to the expansion draft?
Chris Rieger.
No, that was Florida.
That was Florida.
The guy who played at the University of
Joey Daccord.
There you go.
Out of Arizona State or whatever it is.
This also isn't the first year that the rebuild's supposed to be over.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Listen. I think the Ottawa Senators have a crazy crop of prospects. Tim Stützle, Josh Norris, Alex DeBrincat, who's not their own. Like, they traded for him. Fine. Dude, they brought in Alex DeBrincat and Claude Giroux, and then we spent 4 months saying, well, they're going to get Jacob Chikrin. And they did it. They didn't even make a move on defense. Why? Like, how are we not talking about Pierre Dorian not getting a defenseman and then having to trade away Nikita Zaitsev? And we don't even know what their next move is except they might get a defenseman. Come on, that's ludicrous. That's ludicrous.
You already said it there, right? That a lot of people look at that prospect group of the draft picks they've had, of the people they've been acquiring. And I still think it's just that idea, that overarching idea that, no, just you wait, this is going to be a great team. They've had the assets and they will be a good team eventually. But I think, like you said, they're jumping the gun here. They're making moves that I think are counterintuitive of where they actually are on their timeline.
This was listen, this was a group of fans who said we are gonna. They literally were of the opinion that they were going to be a playoff team this year, 100%. They're like, we're going to be a wild card team, or you know what, we might even make the Atlantic Division top 3. And then they got halfway through the season and realized that wasn't going to happen, and they decided to start harassing Montreal fans in the bottom 10.
Wasn't even the first half. Like the Sens were looking bad. Remember when like their first 2 weeks, like they won like 1 game. Also, yeah, like God, they love picking fights, that fan base. By the way, I just want to mention Marc-Andre Fleury 904 save percentage, Cam Talbot 905. The reason I put Cam Talbot in the notes here is because it sounds like he's going to get traded. Interestingly enough, he did not start against the Habs on Saturday night last night. It was Mads Sogard. Fun enough. Got the win, young man. Good for him. Good for the tank as well. Let's go. Want that top 5 pick, baby. Also on Hockey Night in Canada, it was mentioned that they are looking for a D. They're not as concerned about term. It's not going to be Jacob Chikrin. They're also looking at centers because obviously Josh Norris is just done. And Daniel, I found who had the report about Ottawa being interested on Parayko. Frank Saravelli said apparently they were amongst teams who called St. Louis on Colton Parayko. So it's gonna have they're making a move, because here's the thing, they could still make the playoffs. The big thing is they had a big win. They needed to beat Montreal last night, but they have not 4-point nights. They have 8-point nights coming up. This was mentioned last night by Friedman, because they have 2 games upcoming against Detroit, which if they want to make the playoffs, they have to win those games. Those could determine both those teams this season. But that's what's going on in Ottawa.
I agree. They could make the playoffs. Once again, the issue I'm having here is Friedman said like 2 or 3 months ago that they called on Erik Karlsson. They're Friedman like, well, they're calling on everybody, all checking the defensemen.
Yeah.
So is no one out there good enough, or all the prices too high? Like, listen, I could look like a complete ass tomorrow when they make if they make a trade. I could. Sure, maybe. I don't know, but I just don't. We've been talking about them making a trade for a defenseman for months, and they haven't done it. This is like Adam and Alex Kerfoot. Okay, make the trade then. Like there's teams making moves. There are teams making moves. What aren't you willing to give up? Are you going to give up your 1st round pick this year? Probably not, because you don't know if you're going to make the playoffs or not. Are you going to give up your prospects? I don't know. No one's saying anything. Well, we're not what was the thing they didn't want to give up? Ridley Greig or
Greig.
Who's the other one? Tyler Boucher and a Jacob Chikrin deal.
No, not Tyler Boucher. He's playing.
Oh, Tyler
really
Clevin.
No, not Tyler Clevin. I think their Sens fans may have gone on about him, but that's not the one you're thinking of. Oh God, he was scoring really well at the start.
Oh, Shane Pinto.
Shane Pinto, that was it.
There you go. Yeah.
They didn't want to give anybody up in a Jacob Chikrin deal. Why? If he's that good, you're going to get the defenseman that you wanted. You have to give up something to get something. If Jacob Chikrin is as good as everyone's saying he is, and I would agree he is, you're going to have to. That's why they're asking for 3 first-round picks or equivalents. I just make the trade. Like, please.